Wow. So I'm just back from seeing The Joker. Fucking hell. Can you see me? Yeah. Fucking hell. Like, it was one of those films, and I haven't had this in a long time, where you watch the film and you're so utterly absorbed by it that when the film finishes, like the end comes up and like the lights come on and you're sat there and you're like, oh god, yeah, like, oh yeah, you kind of you got to go back to your life, and you will get up and you walk out. Your mind is still in that world. Your body is walking out of the cinema, but your mind and your soul are just somewhere else. Still, they have to catch up. I feel like it's finally catching up with me now, but God, like, where do I start? It was just perfect from the beginning. The first scene was like straight to the point. There was no bullshitting. You know. And one thing which really stood out for me is how the film manipulates the audience. I think that's what it was doing. Because, I mean, the whole film is meant to make you uncomfortable. And it does that in a lot of ways. But one of the ways it does that is it makes you uncomfortable, where he's laughing a lot early on in the film when you don't really know what to think. Or at least a lot of people do. I knew exactly what to think. I knew where I thought of it from the off. From the first scene, my heart was broken, and I just pitied him from the beginning. Whereas the other people who didn't quite get that, he would do these laughs that he would do, and people in the audience, some of them were laughing. And in a way, that's the point. The point is that people do laugh at that, and you know, I mean, I get why they're laughing, because obviously, if people get uncomfortable, one thing they can do, one thing they do is laugh, and obviously he's the extreme case of that, the character. Whenever he gets in stressful situations, he laughs, and it's almost like people in the audience are like that as well, because they are uncomfortable watching, and they don't know what to feel, and so they just laugh without really thinking about it, which is actually perfect because that's how he is. So I love that aspect of the film, how it just makes you uncomfortable, and it does that. Obviously, I said in a variety of ways, because I mean, my experience of it was, I mean, I almost cried at one point, because you know, when you discovered like that he was abused, which I think everyone, you know, you maybe didn't think about it in the film, but you're not as shocked to find that out, but it just, all the emotions I'd been feeling up to that point in the film, it got a bit almost overwhelming. But what the film does is it, you know, makes you uncomfortable by, oh, he's laughing a lot, like, why is he laughing? There's something wrong with him, we don't know what it is, and that makes you feel uncomfortable. And then, you know, the next point, you just really pity him because he's being beaten up again and again, and you're in pain, you're suffering with him, because you think, oh, stop hitting him, like, he's just hurt, and you're just making it worse. And so your heart goes out to him, and so you feel sorry for him, and you want him to be happy. And then, I'll come back to that, you want him to be happy. But then, you know, the next thing is like, he's murdering people. And it's a weird feeling of like, you don't know what to feel, because you're like, I really feel sorry for this guy, but he's killing people. But then it's like, oh, but they're dicks. But it's like, well, he's still killing people. They're bad, but he's technically worse because they haven't killed anyone. He has just killed them. And so you don't know what to feel. You think, oh, I love this guy and I want him to be happy, but he's sick, but he's bad. You can't, you can't help but be like, no, you're killing people. This is bad. And then the next scene, you know, he's making a child laugh, and the mum tells him, well, not this isn't the next scene, but you know, it's like that kind of thing. It's like he's making the child laugh, and you can tell that makes him happy, and the mum tells him to like go away basically, and he starts having that uncontrollable laughter because he's deeply distressed by the fact that this woman has misunderstood him. And that's really crucial because most of the time he's not noticed, and then when he is noticed, he's just really misunderstood and almost hated, laughed at, ridiculed. So then you can't help your heart just going out to him because of that. But then he's killing someone and you're thinking, oh my God. And then it's that cycle. And then there's points where you're really afraid of him because he's either just killed someone or he's looking at his therapist in a certain way with those eyes, or he's walked into that woman's flat after you've learned that then you then learn. I mean, I kind of plot before they explained it, but you learn that their whole relationship is just one of his delusions. And then he's sat in a thing and his hair's wet and he looks at her and you can see her kind of, and that's what everyone in the audience is doing at that point. You're recording because you're absolutely terrified of what's going to happen. You know what he's capable of. You know the pain he's capable of causing. And you don't want to. You're really scared. But then the next scene is like a flashback, and you learn about his abuse, and again you just cry and you think, oh my God. And then he stops taking, and then there's lots of moments of like, there are moments of catharsis, like, which are good, like when he basically shuts down his therapist because it is recording, isn't it? Yeah. He shuts down his therapist, and you just never fucking listen. You ask the same questions every week, and you never listen to a single thing I say. I just said that nobody ever notices me, and you've not listened. And then again, it's I guess the real moment of catharsis for the audience, but it's for us, but through him, is when he's on the show, that talk show, and that's when he really says everything. And it's that truth that causes the riots and the almost revolution, because so many people resonate with him in that world, and I feel like a lot of people will still resonate with that, because people always feel alienated and misrepresented, even just ignored. They feel like they're worthless because society has deemed them worthless. And he's talking, and I knew he was going to kill that guy. I knew he was going to kill the host. Well, I knew he was going to kill the Robert De Niro character. I think everyone by that point knows he's going to do it, because you know he's capable of that. You know he's got the gun, and you can see where that conversation is going. He's not going to get any sympathy, even at that point. He's not going to get any sympathy. And so there's only one way that's going to end. But then that's what I said before, is you want him to feel happy for the whole film, and he stops taking his meds, which basically unleashes him, and what makes him happy is saying all that, killing those people, relishing in the chaos. Not even relishing, like maybe Heath Ledger's Joker would relish more on an intellectual level, but this Joker feels genuinely a deep sense of happiness and freedom. Happiness through the freedom that he finds himself. Oh, one sec. That's Alicia calling me. I better answer that in a sec. Through the freedom that he finds in all that chaos. And then you can't help but feel a release yourself in the audience, and you know you really shouldn't, but you can't help it, because he's finally reached a place where he's accepted, he's being adored by all these rioters. He is the leader, and he loves that. It's all he's ever wanted. But yeah, I got to call the girlfriend and try and explain all that to her without spoiling it. But I might speak about this again later on, but that's basically my thoughts about that utterly fantastic. Joaquin Phoenix is like another level. Another level. Anyway.